got him inside edge. First blood to South Africa. Perhaps just a hint of in-swing to the left-hander. And the inside edge and back onto the stumps. Charles Longold has done it.
Well, that's exactly what they needed, particularly Hayden, an aggressive player. Send him back. You get Ponting in early against the new ball. That's exactly what Graham Smith would have been looking for. Hayden is gone. Australia 122.
Hayden out bowled to Longeveld for 4, and it's 1 for 22. One ball faced by Ponting and 1 for 22. Just keep your eye on the seam as it goes down the pitch. Just comes back enough to find the inside edge. Oh, should have been 2. We were at the northern end of the ground. It looked as though the fielder at third slip, Cullis, got 2 hands to it, perhaps a fraction short of him. Oh. Bit of a scrambling attempt. 1 hand.
Well, we say it pretty well every time. Balance is important, which means that footwork is important. And the footwork there is not good at all. Hence the annoyance of Shaun Pollock. He did the hard part. Enticed the batsman into playing at it, caught the edge. The ball carried very nicely to second slip. And you see there that the right foot is just coming in under the body, and he's just falling. That's not good footwork at all, and not surprising that the ball hit Cullis up on the wrist, didn't even get him on the hand.
That's a neat little push off the back foot. It's gone 3 parts of the way towards the boundary, and they won't take a third. Nice stroke from Justin Langer, having taken 2 off the previous ball. Oh, beautiful. That's a lovely stroke from Justin Langer. Taking Australia on to 35. There's 2 boundaries.
Well, I guess you're entitled to think that you're bulletproof after you've been dropped of a fairly simple catch at second slip. Make the most of it, and that's exactly what Justin Langer is doing.
Bottom edge. Langer has gone, and now this spells trouble for the Australians. 25 he's made, and in good style, although put down at slip, but hasn't profited from it. Ponting is naught, surveying all this from the non-striker's end. 2 batsmen, inside edge or bottom edge, back onto the stumps. 2 for 35.
Brad Hodge on strike to the wicket taker. Langer, 2 fours, perhaps as often happens when you're hitting 4s sometimes you need to have a bit of a chat to yourself and just say, righto, you've got a couple of fours, just settle down. Sometimes the blood just keeps pumping and you think you can hit more fours. Certainly the ball was short enough.
Two for 35. Well fielded. They're on their toes out there now, the South Africans.
Boys, one more. Hey, Simon's already got the badge.
9 for 451 and now 2 for 36.
Well, that was Sean Pollock, the bowler, in the first Test match in Perth. So no wonder the head went back for Justin Langer. Twice in the series, he's knocked it on.
Yes. Here we go. Back in, back in.
Brad Hodge off the mark. $15 overs to be bowled by South Africa. This is the 7th over now.
Oh, a beauty. 2 for 39. And that might have been another one. That's what happened in the South African innings. Late start on the first day. Didn't start till 10 past 1. Then Cullis 111, Ashwell Prince 119. I was very impressed with Ashwell Prince once again. I think he's improving all the time, which is all you can ask from a player. Chuck Rudolph 38, then Sean Pollock 46, and the off spinner Johan Berta 20 not out. And the Australian bowling: McGrath 2 for 65, Lee 3 for 82, Simon 1 for 69, Warren 2 for 106, and McGill 1 for 102. Just the one spinner in the South African side, that's Johan Berta, and we'll see a bit of him tonight, I would imagine. It's a good Yorker, but that's the end of it.
Sounded like it might have been the bat clipping the pad, or perhaps just clipping the turf as it went through.
Certainly a noise.
Might have been just a puff of dust. They weren't convinced behind the wicket. Charles Longeveld has got the 2 breakthroughs, both times the ball clipping the inside edge, or in Matthew Hayden's case the inside edge, Justin Langer underneath edge.
Crowd of 36,000, or in excess of 36,000 yesterday, and almost 27,000 today, 2 for 39. Moved a long way off the seam. I would imagine would have missed leg stump. Perhaps not in the eyes of the bowler, but in the eyes of the beholder in the white out there. Mark Taylor is in the comm box now, and with him Mark Nicholas.
Well, he does get a long way across, Ricky Ponting, but he does get forward as well, which makes it difficult for the umpire to give that. It's on the front foot, and it's just a bit high. Hit him above the knee. Good decision, Malim Dar. There's a good example of how far forward Ricky Ponting tries to get. He almost fell over on that occasion. Afternoon, Mark.
They all thought it was funny out there. The stumping was on for Boucher just momentarily. It does show that it's one area where you can focus on Ponting when he first comes to the crease, just 3 to 6 inches outside off stump. He just isn't as balanced as he is when he's further into his innings, particularly when he's coming forward. He's fine on the back foot. One or two sides have looked to test him out in that area.
Oh, he's lucky his ankle or his knee didn't give away there. I mean, very embarrassing. He does like to get forward, likes to try and smother the ball early on. When he gets to 20 or 20 to 30, that's when he starts to settle down and the foot movement's not quite as deliberate. That's a beauty. Absolute beauty. Saw one start of the over which hit Ponting on the top of the knee roll, which darted back off the seam. That one held its line.
Pollock took an over or two to get the radar right. Now he's got it right. He's a threat. He's hitting the seam. There isn't the lavish movement that there was for the Australians yesterday morning with the overcast conditions, but there's something there to encourage the new ball bowlers.
That's a thick edge as well, and also well fielded. Herschel Gibbs in the gully. 2 for 41 after 9. That kept a bit low. That's good bowling from Wigglefeld. He's hitting the bat hard, hitting the pitch hard. That was a real temptation there for Ponting. A good puller and hooker of the ball, and Wigglefield's giving him the opportunity to play the shot. But he got it high and he got it outside off. It would have taken a good shot to keep that down. Well bowled. 409 behind Australia at the moment, 8 wickets in hand.
Might have only had 7 wickets had this one gone the way of the South Africans. A sense of a sound coming from the stump microphone, and here's Snicko. Snicko suggests that the sound might well have been an edge. Brad Hodge got away with that one. There was a sense at the time that the bat might have hit the ground, but certainly not at the point the ball is just passing the bat there. You get the little movement on the graph.
Well, I'm here to disagree with Snicko. I didn't think at the time there was certainly a noise there. Just Mark Boucher, the keeper, was very confident. Bowler and everyone else weren't. Neither was the umpire.
Andre Nels into the attack for the first time with his lively brand of fast medium, and he wants the crowd to get going. Come on, he says, give it to me. The conductor of the absurd.
Just the single from the over, 2 for 43. How do I get one more wicket? That's what he's thinking. South African captain. I'm happy, don't get me wrong, I'm happy. 9 for 451 declared. I batted first yesterday. My side has done the right thing by batting first and making a good score. I've got 2 wickets, Langer and Hayden out, but now I'm going to get greedy. I'd love to get Ponting.
Yeah, I think flexible thinking is needed from Graham Smith, in that clearly there's a plan here, which is to bowl just outside off stump. Perceived, and probably quite rightly too, weaknesses of Ponting and Hodge early in their innings, if you can get them going after balls just a little wide of off stump. But what you don't want to do when you've got a limited time to bowl before the close of play is waste the new ball. So rather bring a fielder across, maybe have a short leg in instead of get the second guy back on the hook, and bowl a little straighter and see if there's a touch of uneven bounce or a little sideways movement.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I don't think you need 2 out at this stage. I'd much prefer to see a batsman with a few minutes to go until Stump's playing hook shots to short balls than have a man out there. I'd like to see him up next to the umpire, and as you rightfully point out, Mark, have your bowler bowl at the stumps. Longfield is hitting the pitch hard, being the odd one just to keep a bit low. That signal would annoy me. 2 for 47. 2 for 47 Australia. They're 404 runs behind, so they need another 205 to avoid the follow-on. That will be their first figure they'll think about. 252. I suppose well before that will be just getting to stumps without any further loss of wicket. To see Brett Lee there too with the pads on, coming in as night watchman. I'm sure he's not all that pleased about that.
Well, except that given his improvement with the bat, he probably wants every opportunity he can get. He really believes he can become thought of as a batsman, well, certainly a bowler who bats, maybe not as a legit all-rounder, but rather than just a tail ender and a night watcher. So if he comes in at number 4 or 5 and makes runs, he's giving a pretty clear message to his captain. And also, he's never mind a night watchman, he's a nightmare for the opposition because he can play all the strokes. And there's no rabbit, not at all.
Interesting stats, aren't they? Average is 22, but no 50s. No 50s, no 100s. There's no doubt I'm expecting to get a 50 or 2 in his test match career before it's over. He strikes the ball nicely, Brett Lee, but at this stage it suggests to me he's got a lot of starts in his test career so far without making any big scores, so he's a regular scorer of runs. So my apologies, he has 2 50s. That was his last year's figures. He averaged 22 at the bat without any 50s. High score of 62. There's no doubt he has the ability to make lots of runs at test match level. Andre Nell, like all fast bowlers, lots of impact around the feet and ankles when they finally plonk their feet. And just keep an eye on his ankle here from extreme slow-mo. We'll also look at that toe. The sock, I think, coming out. I'm not sure how much of his big toe is actually coming out of that shoe, or whether it's just his sock. It does give you an idea of the amount of impact on the ankles and how much movement and flexibility needs to be around the ankle when a fast bowler is bowling.
Doesn't it ever? And it shows you how necessary it is to have some shock absorption in there, and also good grip with the spike so that the foot doesn't slip. Look how much give there is in the sole where the absorption takes place there. I mean, that is a magnificent picture. It gives you a really good idea the kind of thing fast bowlers go through with the rolling ankles and sliding knees and hips. It is a very demanding thing to bowl fast.
Yeah, an 8,000 Test match runs. And Ricky Ponting puts him in quite an elite group of cricketers. You consider he's only just turned 31. Ricky Ponting, how many will he finish up with? Another 5 or 6 years, maybe 13, 14,000. The 16th cricketer, batsman to make 8,000 Test match runs. Ponting, 2 for 53. And they've actually given Ponting a single there. It's been the last over. Obviously Andre Nell's very keen to have a go at Brad Hodge for these last 5 deliveries.
Well, there are some theatrical things here from Graham Smith as Nell has moved to bowl around the wicket. The sideboard's gone across. Another man's gone back on the hook, so there's a deep back for Square as well as a long leg. And he's not that far behind Square, probably 5 metres. Then there's a short leg fielder coming quite deep. So more likely there for the fend off than for the bat pad. A wide mid-on and a short extra cover. It's a most unusual field. It says that Nell will try some short ball, so we shall see.
And he's got him. It was all too easy in the end. It was a plan. The ball was bowled in the right area. Brad Hodge obliged. Popped it straight up the bat pad. And Andre Nell's got his first wicket, and South Africa finished the day on an enormous high.
Well, it's a staggering mistake from Brad Hodge because the whole thing was signalled. But it's a magnificent execution of a plan by Andre Nell and by Jacques Rudolph. Really, what a way for the South Africans to finish the day. What a day they've had at the Sydney Cricket Ground. And that is going to send the spirits sky high in their dressing room.
Superb day. Graham Smith and the South Africans. 9 for 451 they declared at. And now they've got Australia reeling at 3 for 54. Longerfield has got 2 wickets. And Andre Nell picks up Brad Hodge with the last ball of the day.
What an absolutely brilliant session that was for South Africa. It's been their day again. An intriguing day are coming right up. Hello there. Yes, it promised to be another dramatic day at the SCG, a pattern that had started late on the second day of this third Test match. 3 quick wickets, with Hodge, of course, out to the last ball of the day, had really set the South Africans up in a game which they have to win to square the series. Now, John Embry is with me once again here in the studio in London. He'll analyse the day's action a little later on. But now let's get to those early exchanges. It was cloudy, overcast, and for South Africa, it was absolutely imperative they took early wickets. Well, here's what happened. In the commentary box, Richie Benaud was with Mark Taylor.
So here's Nell to Hussey. And almost back onto the stumps. Eventually, it's a very good morning, Richie Benaud.
And eventually, it was a brilliant Yorker from Andre Nell. He planned that. He got the wicket yesterday evening. Now, what's he going to bowl to Michael Hussey first up? And it was to try to sneak it under the bat. Very good piece of thinking.
Now The other thing that's happening out there at the moment is since the players started, it's just slightly drizzling at the moment. Now that may juice this pitch up a little bit, which still has some grass on it. But if Hussey and Ponting get that ball into the outfield, it may just wet that ball and soften the seam, which will help Australia. Now the play wouldn't have started had that drizzle been here 5 minutes ago. And the other thing is worth mentioning at this stage is that no real time has been lost. We'll play an extra half hour tonight, obviously weather and light permitting, and we'll start a half an hour early again tomorrow, so it'll be a 10 o'clock start in the morning Sydney time to make up the full hour that's been lost this morning. So from a South African point of view, who are obviously dying to get out there and try and knock over Australia, no real time has been lost. And that's the over completed from Nell. Australia are 3 for 54. Oh, a swing and a miss.
Longfeld was interesting yesterday because he actually got the seam in the right position and got the ball to swing, just as that one did to Ricky Ponting. Hayden, inside edge, a little bit of swing right the last fraction of a second. Hayden. And then Langer trying to pull the bottom edge this time rather than the inside edge. And a miscue there. And then Hodge from what turned out to be the last ball of the day. Now there's a bit more movement, a bit of swing. Conditions won't do any harm trying to bowl the swinging ball. Bradley Hodge yesterday, the third to go.
Well, it was a brilliant piece of thinking, planning and eventually execution from the South Africans. Andre Nell and Graham Smith, the captain, there embracing, because that was set up beautifully. That's nicely timed. That will get that ball into that slightly damp outfield, and it'll get it all the way for 4.
Well, there probably hasn't been enough time for water to get on the surface yet, but it is raining at the moment. The timing there was such that it looked good for most of the way out to the boundary. Then it looked as though it was going to slow up. All of a sudden it leapt away from the fielder again.
It's through. It's not quite where Ricky Ponting intended it. It'll go away for at least 3.
That was well bowled. That swung late. Wasn't one of those that starts halfway down the pitch and then goes away from the right-hander. Just as Ponting was starting to play stroke, it left him in the air.
It's a little subtle change there too from Charles Longfeld. Just went a bit wider of the crease. Try to angle the ball more into Ponting and then swing it away. That's a nice shot. That's what I like about Mike Huss. Plays beautifully straight and times the ball well enough.
That's a nice way to get off the mark. A good firm stroke down the ground. No swing with that one. It was meant to be just pushed across Hussey.
It's well bowled. Good follow-up. 3 for 65. 20 to Ponting. Mike Hussey off the mark last over with a boundary. Ponting will face Sean Pollock, who has had some success against Ponting throughout this series. that away. You get at least 2 for that. Sean Pollock replacing Andre Nell, even though Andre Nell picked up a wicket with the second ball of his over last night. This might be the reason. This is how Ponting has fallen to Pollock during the series. LBW in the first test. Pollock tends to get in nice and close to the stumps. Bowls a bit more like McGrath, stump to stump. LBW there as well. And this was last night. That one, very similar type delivery, just bounced a bit too much. Good decision from Aleem Dar. That ball was going over the top, but 3 very similar type deliveries and shots by Ponting. Just over his head, the mid-wicket. Not quite out of the middle from Ricky Ponting, but away to the boundary. Just for a fleeting moment, I think Ricky Ponting may have had his heart in his mouth.
Well, down in Melbourne, he was caught by the man, or rather dropped by the man there at short forward square. It was Andre Nell. They put Nell, because of what he did there, they put him down the boundary. Didn't quite come off the middle.
That's a lovely cricket shot. Beautifully timed, very quick down there. It's where the ground staff bring out their tractors and rollers and what have you. It gets away from you at that northern end of the ground. A lovely straight drive.
There was just a hint of in-swing there as well. Just there. Found its way onto the middle of Ponting's bat.
Yes, he might be ruining the fact that it did swing in a little bit. Swung right onto the middle of the bat. That was a beautiful shot. Nice time. 2. Ponting just starting to find the middle of the bat. 3 for 78. Oh, that's run right out of the middle. That's about as good as it gets through the covers.
It's a lovely stroke. He's very good straight down the ground, Michael Hussey. But also plays beautiful cover drives, gets himself into position very well.
Now, Mark Nicholas made the comment a couple of days ago that I reckon that Mike Hussey drives the ball through the covers as good as anyone he's seen. And I think he's got it dead right. Beautiful timer of the cover drive. 3 for 82. Short, wide, and Ricky Ponting in this sort of form puts those away.
That's a good stop. Needed Langefeld to move very quickly at the ball. He couldn't afford to go around the boundary's edge, so he cut the angle off and still had to throw himself at full length.
2 for 48 with the ball from 11 overs. Done plenty of work and he's looking to do more. Pollock, just about 9 overs, none for 30. He's been on the pads of the lefties and now the right-handers, even though that catching man is on the offside.
So it's 3 for 89.
clever cameramen and technicians have been able to put Pollock over the top of Glenn McGrath. And have a look how similar their actions are. The angle of approach to the crease, very tight and controlled approaches. Pollock used to have a big jump in towards the umpire, but he's flattened that out. And look at that, almost exactly the same. That on drive has found the gap. The outfield hasn't been affected by the moisture that's been around this morning, because that has run a long way. Hussey nearly worked for 4.
It's kind of a trade-off, really, for Shaun Pollock, that ball. Ideally, he doesn't want to bowl quite so straight at Ricky Ponting. You'd like to bowl sort of 3 inches outside the off stump. But because he trapped him LBW, one of the virtues of Pollock getting so close to the stumps, as often as he has in the series, he's going to say, OK, I'll bowl a little straighter to Ponting than others might.
He goes to third, 8,032 runs, Ricky Ponting, just past Mark Waugh, who made his 8,000 runs in 128 tests. So his record is stacking up with the best, Ricky Ponting. So many games to play, as Mark Taylor alluded to. He can rack them all up.
Another great thing about Ricky Ponting is his versatility. You know, he always entertains. I mean, he's consistently counter-attacking from unpromising positions. He plays as well off front foot as back foot, and he plays terrific defensive innings.
3 for 92.
And even he would have been mighty pleased with that stroke, because it's maximum.
Well into the 8,000s, Ricky Ponting made that look very easy. Charles Langerfeld maybe struggling for pace now and fatiguing a little. Drops it short as well as outside leg. Makes that shot a lot easier than it could have been if it was high outside off. It's gone a long way. Real long way.
Oh, there's a marvellous straight drive. It's not right off the middle of the bat, because there was a great crunching sound of bat and pad together, which is why it didn't sound so clean. It takes Ricky Ponting to 50, and he has played superbly this morning.
No one can pin him. Can't keep him quiet. 51 from 68 deliveries. It's been a magnificent start. Those guys have enjoyed it. Parramatta Eels in the house. Hour and a half for his 50.
Right, here comes everybody's favourite. Andre Neller's into the attack.
And it should be a good time for him to come into the attack, because he'll like the fact Ricky Ponting's trying to play some shots. Nell could be a man to try enough with the ball to pick up the wicket and then get South Africa back on a roll.
Almost invariably, it's Ponting's straight driving that tells you what sort of form he's in, particularly through the offside, when he hits it just inside the right hand and mid-off. Tends to mean that he's getting a lot of blade on the ball. It tends to mean that his balance is good, that he's picking the line early. There was one in particular that rocketed through mid-off that was as good a stroke as you'd see. It came on the back of a short ball that he pulled away. Just an example of a couple that was, well, one that went wide of mid-on. That was the one. That was pure. Good shout. Good shout. Too many issues maybe for Aleem Dar. Graeme Smith is spitting. They're all spitting.
Well, straightened nicely. He got it to swing into Hussey, who's been very compact in defence. Did he hit it? Was there a second noise? Was it the bat slamming into the pad before the ball hit the pad? But in my opinion, watching the first replay, the ball was going on to hit the stumps.
So it can't pitch outside leg stump. Well, it didn't. It has to straighten, which it did. It's horrendously close to being LBW. No! If it isn't stone dead.
No evidence of bat on ball before it hit the front pad. The bat might have slammed into the bottom of the pad, but it swings. It pitches on leg and it's going on to hit middle, probably, because of a little in swing to Hussey. Got him falling over the shot. Finally, they've got Hussey falling over one. Can't do any more than that, surely.
Oh, that's a lovely shot. Right into the gap as well, but nicely fielded as well. I must say, Andre Nel accepted that decision extremely well. You saw how agitated the captain was over the umpire not giving the LBW, but Andre Nel was very quickly on his heel, turned on his heel and back to his mark. Made the big appeal, was turned down, and he was pretty quickly on his way. Hasn't had many match fees, Ian. Perhaps he doesn't want to lose it. He's been he's probably very aware of some of the warnings that have gone around. He certainly showed his displeasure, but you're right, once he'd registered his displeasure, put his head down and headed back to his bowling mark. 3 down for 105, and just elaborating a little on Ian Chappell's point about the bowlers and fielders. Oh, that's well bowled. The bowlers and fielders just being allowed to go off as long as they gather themselves relatively quickly. I mean, very important to the South Africans, that decision. Hussey, of course, dropped on 27. They know what he's capable of. He went on and made 100 in the last Test match. And here we found ourselves in a situation where that was clearly plumb LBW. Sure, the umpire may well have thought that he found a little inside edge. There were a few noises around there. But you can understand their frustration, and you should give them just a little bit of leeway in that regard. The trouble with Graeme Smith showing his disappointment as much as he did, it lets the other players know that you know, they're not happy with the result. And the thing is, you are annoyed about it, you're disappointed about it, but you've got to forget it and get on with it. End of the last over, as Andre Nel took his cap and he was walking away. It's now 2.5 overs old, and he was still shaking his head. They've got to forget it. It's a difficult thing to do, but you've just got to forget it and get on with it.
Yes.
Well, that's a bit short, and that's a good shot. See, this is what Hussey is capable of, and this is what will hurt them. The big LBW shot followed by shots like this, sort of like salt, rubbing salt into the wound.
I suppose the other thing that's going through Graeme Smith's mind is he's been given out LBW quite a few times in this series. That is a very good shot from Michael Hussey. He's been out a couple of times pulling, but on that occasion got on top of it and really rolled the wrists.
Well, that's well bowled. Right up in the block hole there, and well played by Hussey as well. Down on it very late. 3 for 109. And Nel about to start a new over. Oh, and short and smashed away. Right, now this is exactly what Ian Chappell was talking about. You've got to keep your cool.
This is the best puller in the game of cricket, and he has dispatched that one nonchalantly to the boundary.
59 now for Ricky Ponting with his 5th boundary, and he's also hit a 6. We're talking about dominant batsmen, and Ricky Ponting is very much a dominating type of player at number 3. We've talked about how Jacques Kallis doesn't do enough of it for South Africa. Just to give you a comparison, Ricky Ponting reached his half century from 68 balls in this innings. So we're talking about same ground, same pitch. Jacques Kallis 51 from 116.
Kallis to continue with the ball. Hussey on strike. We were talking a little while ago about the frustrations of the South African captain. He was given out LBW. This is a comparison. The South African captain Smith's dismissal on the left and Hussey on the right given not out. Just watch this. Very similar now. There's the delivery, and it nips back, hits him on the back leg in front of middle, and then this one just a little wider on the crease and down the line, hits him on the front pad. So there's a difference, and ooh, that's a wide delivery. Some of the frustration might go back to that very situation. Well, a little bit of bounce outside off stump, and Ponting trying to force away through square on the offside. Didn't quite get it in the middle of the bat. That was close.
Well, that's how Nell got rid of Ponting at the MCG. Not caught in the gully, he was caught more at point, but forcing off the back foot. On that occasion, it was more of an edge. In Melbourne, he hit it nearer the middle of the bat, but the extra bounce fooled him. So Nell obviously bowling to a plan, just doesn't quite come off on that occasion, but it was very close.
That's nicely played by Ponting. Just flicks that one away. Well, that's a great shot. Lovely straight drive. May just have got a finger on it because it seems to be slowing down, although this out, no, it's gone all the way. That's his 7th boundary. Ponting is looking dangerous. There's still a fair bit of batting there on their day. Simons and Gilchrist, wonderful to watch, and Hussey. He's just beginning to settle to the task. Ponting going along very well at the moment.
See McGrath listed at number 10 on our batting lineup. I think Glenn McGrath has said that he'll never bat at number 10 again. He wants to be at number 11 forevermore. I think there was one failure there at number 10, and he's decided that he is a number 11.
Whiting.
That's the end of the over from Nell. It looks as if there are a couple of minutes to go, so we'll probably get one more before lunch. It's 3 for 123. Really quite surprising, as far as I'm concerned, that Smith, who we heard his coach say today, these guys are trying to be a little bit more proactive, trying to introduce into their cricket a little bit more of an attacking flavour. Hasn't given his off spinner a go. We've got a left-hander batting out there. The off spinner Buerta has been flown out here. These guys have never seen him. I shouldn't imagine if they have. They wouldn't have seen much of him. And who knows? A couple of overs before lunch, they have just produced something and given the youngster a really good start. Nothing much can go wrong from a bowler's point of view just before lunch break, 2 or 3 overs. And always there's so much of a positive there. So I think he's missed a bit of a trick.
Yeah, especially as you say with a left-hander on strike. Even if you'd just given him this last over, left-hander on strike, Hussey probably not looking to do much damage with Lunch just an over away. It means that the young guy can come on. Fair chance he'll bowl a maiden. That gets his nerves settled. If he gets a wicket, it's fantastic, but at least it gives him an easy situation to start so he can settle his nerves.
Nah.
70 runs added in that morning session. We lost a little bit of play, but Australia now have taken their score to 3 for 124. Out there at the moment, Ponting on 69 and Michael Hussey undefeated on 30.
Three for 124 at the moment. Been a good first session for them. No wickets going down, but they've simply got to start again now. The first ball, Sean Pollock is the bowler from the southern or Randwick end here. The conditions, well, they're okay. I've just had a look at the radar map. There's no rain showing in the Sydney area at all. They seem to think that if any of that black stuff you see on your screen there deteriorates into, say, a drizzle, it'll be the faintest drizzle you could imagine, doesn't even show up on the radar map. So for the sake of the spectators and TV viewers, we hope that's right. Had enough delays in this game. A late start on the opening morning, a late start this morning. Hodge, the man out yesterday evening, caught Rudolph bowled Nell, and that bouncer in the last over.
South Africa won the toss on day one. It was a late start, as Richie Benaud just mentioned. 9 for 451 they scored at less than 3 runs per over, so they really battled it out against Australia. I never say they dominated the Australian attack, but there was a period there where Callis and Prince batted where you just didn't feel they were going to get out. It didn't really get out and out on top of Australia in terms of thrashing them all over the park, but they did look very solid. And put together a big partnership, put together a big total. And that's what you have to do here at the SCG. To win the toss, batting is at its best probably midway through day one through to about the end of day 3. So you've got to make your runs early on. That's exactly what South Africa did. The bowling was good. McGrath was tight. Brett Lee, I thought, bowled better than his 3 for 82. And the spinners, well, they toiled hard for their 3 wickets between them. You can see by those figures, 208 runs were given away, or were taken off the spinners anyway.
That's where Ponting gives the bowler and the wicketkeeper and slipfielders a little bit of hope for an LBW when he's picking the ball off middle, sometimes even off middle and off, and playing it out through mid-wicket. Momentarily looking for a second one there, but the man deep in the outfield was coming in very quickly. .130 on the board, 3 down. Hussey has striken. Nell's going to come around the wicket to him again. 2 slips and a gully. Nice stroke. It's a good part of the outfield down here below our commentary box, but still won't go to the boundary. Very good anticipation by Nell. Very good throw by Nell. Accurate, straight, but useless.
Prior to the last 2 balls that Hussey's faced, he was only 14 from 82 balls faced. Now, there's always a temptation to play a big shot. What does he do? He just plays it down, takes the pace off the ball, and Ponting's calling through for a good single. Feels him a little bit deep, and then the first ball next over, he gets a bit more of a half volley, because Andre Nell's now got to change his line because he's been bowling to Ponting. It's really good cricket from the Australians there. Real risk-free cricket.
Well, better bowling than the result achieved. Picked up a third there with Hussey having to dash a bit towards the end. But it was well bowled by Nell because he forced Ponting to check his stroke, a slightly slower ball. Ponting still got it away between the field, but there was just that moment. He couldn't follow through because the ball was slower.
The other thing to admire between watching these two is their running between wickets. Both extremely quick, turn well, they get down low when they're running, turning ones into twos and twos into threes. They get down low, touch in and push out. So for any other batsman that could easily just been two, they do it easy. They run the runs hard, they put the pressure on the fieldsman, they just pick up extra runs all the time. So Hussey there's almost waiting for Ponting because Ponting had to play the shot. So he's a couple of yards behind Hussey. Good understanding and just good pace.
Played some lovely shots today, Ponting. For the most part, he's been very straight in defence. Just once or twice he's played across the ball. But basically, it's been a really good innings. Just out of the reach of the gully once. Trying to cut Nell. That's a beauty.
And it's 4 for 140. Hussey's now moved to 22. A good over for him, that last one. A 3 and a 4 from the last over. Here's Pollock. Talked about how he picked up a single and then played a nice straight push for 3. And the other thing that happens when you rotate the strike, occasionally you get a slightly fuller one, a wider one, and you get a chance to hit a boundary. And what good players do, like Mike Hussey, they put it away. Lovely square drive.
These two run well between the wickets. Their calling is always decisive. It's one of the features of this level of cricket. You generally have good runners between the wickets who have precise calling and loud calling as well. It used to be only yes, no or wait. Now they vary it a bit. Sometimes it's I'm waiting, or not quite a perhaps, but that sort of thing. That was short of the fielder, but it was well bowled by Sean Pollock.
The ball's now 42 overs old, so it's quite as hard as it was at the start of the day's play. Now this start of the day's play may well have been a catch, but it gets a bit older and a bit softer. Those edges tend to go down and don't carry as well. All of a sudden a good delivery goes to 4. Nice little bonus for Hussey.
Quite often see visiting teams in particular have the slips and gullies too far back as the game goes on because they're not used to the conditions. If you've got a captain who's led a side out here before, then he'll be up with the pace. But generally, they all believe when they visit this country that the ball is going to fly to them as though they're in Perth all the time.
Important as Jim and I talked about to make sure you don't get too deep in the slips. With a bit of grass on this pitch, the new ball is flying through okay, but when it does get a bit older, as we saw yesterday with Jacques Rudolph, here's a genuine nick, and it just carried through to Gilchrist. That was off McGrath, who's a big tall man as well. You've got to make sure you don't get too deep. 3 for 145.
Started off as a medium pacer, according to the list of things he's done, and then they turned him into a spinner. He's a spinner the Australians haven't seen at all. All they know is what they've read about him. So it'll be a case of observing from both ends. Batsman is Ponting, and Michael Hussey might be sneaking a little look at him as well as he's bringing over his arm. Should be anyway.
Richie, I thought he was fairly impressive yesterday with the bat. And he made 20. Bear in mind, this is only his 29th first-class match and his first test. He's been quoted as saying that he likes the competition. And I thought yesterday he competed really well with the bat. Remained 20 not out. He was not overawed by the situation of playing against Australia. This will be a good test for him today. Going to Ponting and Hussey.
That won't be the spot, but he's going to need a bit of time to loosen up. I think you'll find that when he was a medium pacer, he was a batsman medium pacer. Might have batted middle of the order, but batting and just bowled medium pace more or less as a batting all-rounder. Now this is a different situation. He's twirling and twisting and bowling off spin, which is a different proposition.
He has played 4 one-day internationals. This is his first test match. They've been bowling the off-spin for about 2 years. I believe he has the ability to bowl the Doosera, or the one that goes the other way.
of oohs and ahs out there, but it seemed to go off the batter right. Perhaps a replay might show a thick edge.
Yes, maybe a little bit extra bounce with that one. Pretty sure Mike Hussey was trying to hit this just in front of square on the offside. Just bounced a bit on him. That brings up the 100 partnership between these two. 177 deliveries for that 100 partnership.
Oh,
That's an interesting first over. It's 3 for 155. Forgotten about it, that England won the Ashes, or regained the Ashes over in England in this past summer. Here it's 3 for 155, Australia. Sean Pollock the bowler, Michael Hussey the batsman, Ian Healy the commentator, and with him is Ian Chappell.
Thanks, Richie. The brow is creased of Sean Pollock. He is at the moment, that's for sure. Cricketer of the Year, Sportsman of the Year, every award in England goes to Flintoff. A magnificent series that he had against Australia. Next year, it's on. Hussey's got a fight on his hands. He's weathering the storm well. 31 from 94. He's taken plenty of time. But Ian Chappell, he doesn't come good until he bats with number 10 and 11, does he?
Well, he's technically pretty good, Michael Hussey. He's been an opening batsman the bulk of his career. So the ball just moving around a little bit in overcast conditions, he will have seen all that before. And the other thing I like about him, he knows when it's time to work hard for your runs.
yes, yes, yes.
He doesn't play every innings as though he's start every innings as though he's in prime form, which he is at the moment, but he understands that some days they come a little easier than others, and if you've got to work hard for them, well, so be it.
They were 3 for 54 overnight, the Australians. They've now got it to 157. It's taken 184 balls for Hussey and Ponting to add that 103. Johan Botha at the bowling crease again. His first over went for 10. Big moment for this man. He's got boundary protection as well as catches in around the bat.
Oh, yes, Boatsy, yes, Boatsy.
I was just watching him in the warm-ups a couple of times, and he does seem to lay back a little bit and get his arm very, very high, maybe even past the perpendicular.
Oh! Yes, Boats, yes, Boats.
Very similar to Harbhajan, which is his idol, and he spent plenty of time with him. He's got a bit of a Harbhajan bounce about him.
And this will be the thing to see whether that arm is past the... Yes, he's definitely past the perpendicular. That's going to make it difficult to get a lot of spin, you would have thought. Also make it difficult, you would also think, to curve the ball away from the right-hander.
Oh!
Yes, run. Hit it, fella! Come on, boy!
Only new to the game, in the off-spinning caper. In the year 2000, he played for South African under-19s as a medium swing bowler. He's tall enough for that. At the advice and recommendation of Mickey Arthur, the current coach of South Africa, he said, this is your best chance to represent South Africa. Get some spin happening. Hussey's doing it with defence at the moment, and Pollock's decided to change around the wicket to him. Pollock's toiled well, nearly 16 overs, but still no wicket. That's in the air, but it's also 4.
He's had a bit of frustration in this innings, Sean Pollock. Already had a catch, and a fairly straightforward catch, dropped. That was Justin Langer on strike on that occasion. This time, Hussey finds the gap between gully and slip. Very catchable height. He got Hussey reaching for that one, well wide of off stump. Probably just a hint of swing as well, finding the outside edge.
He's kept it tight, and then he threw the one wide. almost got him. Not as wide, that one, and Hussey helps himself to a single. No overthrows. He goes to 39. 3 for 166.
Oh.
This could be tight.
Oh.
The dive was on and he made it.
Well, Hussey is obviously going to pressurise the South African fielders, and so far he's absolutely terrorised mid-on, mid-off. He's hit about 4 now, just straight at them. Even there was a bit of hesitation before he took off. I think he realised then that he could be in a bit of strife and went for the dive. But he's obviously going to challenge them.
Overpitched, and that's through mid-on for 4. Magnificently turned to the onside by Ricky Ponting. Single followed by 4.
Placement was the important thing. He took that from about off stump, realising that the bigger gap straight was on the onside. Made Michael Hussey do the high jump.
If it's not going to spin too much, and if he's going to over pitch, they can straighten that mid-on up. Ricky Ponting will play down through straight mid-on all day. 89 in his 100th test.
Oh, yes, Boats, yes,
The one that
Boats.
hasn't been purchasing yet. Not spinning, just sliding straight onto the right-hander. Reports are that he's got one that goes the other way. It might just be a straight one. Keep an eye out for it, whether it does actually spin right to left or just doesn't spin left to right. Difficult for a young man in his first test, with Hussey and Ponting both established and working the strike beautifully.
A bit of slack fielding there from the South Africans.
It's a total spread out field now. He's got those 2 men back on the boundary for backward square leg and fine leg, but only one slip, a gully and a ring field. Otherwise, and there's a slips catch. And where were they?
Langeveld has been able to get the ball just swinging a touch here at the SCG. That occasion caught the edge right through the gap. Catchable height. Picked the gap beautifully.
They're gone. They're gone. Watch Boucher, Smith, Callis. Watch here. You see Smith and Callis in the shot. Oh no, and Boucher's crouching down at the moment as well. Can't take a trick, but that could be one. No, it's not.
He got a big stride in, Ricky Ponting. Swing is still there for Charles Langeveld. This time it's coming back in to Ponting. It's certainly hit him in line, but it was moving a bit. The interesting thing to see would be how far forward Ricky Ponting got. It looked like he took a good pace forward.
It looks very clear cut when you've got that strike zone in the picture, but the umpire doesn't get that. He sees a big stride. He thinks it's hit him outside the line maybe, but going on to hit, they cannot take a trick at the moment, and then the Aussies continue to do that. Hussey got away with an LBW earlier on, but he's just refused to relent. He's gone to 41 and really torturing.
Nice, Boatsy, nice, Boatsy.
I talked before about how he's very high. Comes from a long way across the back of his head almost, Porter, before he gets about to the perpendicular.
Oh, yes, Boats.
That's the
yes,
deucer.
Boats.
That was the deucer, went straight on. Good time to test Ponting out on 96.
Really just spinning it straight over the top like an overspinner, and it's just gone straight on. That was the ideal approach from the young bowler. Man facing on 96, you've got an opportunity to stop him getting his 100 off your bowling. That's what you should be saying to yourself. You might just frustrate him into doing something that gets him out.
Big gap at cover for a big drive there. He might use the gap right with that shot. It wasn't the drive I was talking about, it was the late cut.
So far there's been a loose one, or at least a loose one, every over from Border. Too much variation in his length for a finger spinner at the moment. That's very short, and we've seen him too full a couple of times to Ricky Ponting. He's got to get that length sorted out.
Oh, it's popped in the air and he's got a wicket. Mike Hussey, bat pad to Boucher, and Bota gets his first Test match wicket.
Well, that looked as though it was the one that goes straight on. Straight on, and probably bounced a little more. It really popped up in the air after it touched the bat, then went onto the pad. It's gone straight on. A little bit of bat, a little bit of glove, a little bit of pad. And the good news for South Africa is it popped up very high, gave Boucher plenty of time. So first wicket in Test cricket for Border. Australia 4 for 184.
Andrew Symonds, that's not him, but it's a fair resemblance to the crease. Excitement personified in Melbourne. Can he do it again in Sydney? He joins Ricky Ponting, and in the commentary box, Mark Nicholas joins Tony Greig.
Thank you, Ian Healy, and I suppose the big question is, will Andrew Symonds play his natural game, or will he revert to that slightly more conservative game of his? Here we go. And there's the short one, high short one, trying to tempt Ponting. Wide given, trying to tempt Ponting into have a go at it, and just a little bit too high that time.
Given where the field's set on the leg side, that is way too high. The extra guy out at deep square is actually deep mid-wicket. Usually the second man out for a hook is either behind square or dead square, but he's a long way in front of square. Ponting couldn't have got a ball that high there.
On the back foot that time. Boy, there's a nice gap square of the wicket. He was looking for that as well. Right, let's have another look at the Hussey wicket. This is it. Perhaps playing a little bit for the spin there. Bit of bounce there, no doubt about that. And as a result, an inside edge and a pretty straightforward catch.
That's the nearest thing to the Murali Dusra that's going around. It's almost come out of certainly the top of the fingers. There's an appearance there of the back of the hand. And that's why he's got the ball to go straight on. He's almost looking to get it to go the other way. In fact, it might have just turned a bit back at Hussey. A clever bit of bowling.
It's well played, way on the offside, a single. And a fumble. Ponting's thinking about the second, but decides against it. So just the single takes him to 2 short of his century.
Well, this has to be a captain's hunch. There's no obvious reason, unless there's a perceived weakness in Andrew Symonds that Nell can expose. But Johan Botha has done so much good work. Really gutsy performance with the bat. He's fielded with a lot of energy and athleticism. Got a wicket. I think Smith just wants to see a bit of that.
What was he doing with his watch, for goodness sake? Did you notice that?
No, that's his heart rate monitor.
Is it? Well, heart rate. Off the pad, leg buys. I don't think there was any bat in that one. No, up goes the leg of the umpire, so leg buy signalled.
Well, apparently their heart rate monitor's there because there's an optimum heart rate for Andre Nell to perform at his best. And that's what he looks to get himself to. I suggested to Ian Healy this morning it was there to stop him boiling over. I suppose they're one and the same.
I thought you must mean that he's got a heart problem, and if it goes over the top, you've got to slow down or something. I've never seen that before, ever. He actually went down the pitch. Oh, and he's thrown. He's trying to get that crowd going, as well as the batsmen, as well as everyone else. A little bit of white line fever creeping in here.
A little bit. This is exaggerated white line fever.
Well, obviously, when he pushed that button to get his heart rate, it wasn't high enough. So he's trying to get it up a bit. Flicked away off middle stump. And he's certainly got the crowd going here. Another 2.
Do you know, Tony, that's probably the point. That's probably a lot of all this stuff we see from Nell, is merely to get himself going. Ostensibly it's in the face of the opposition, but I mean the opposition aren't kidded by this, not into the 3rd test of a series. In fact, they just give him a look as if to say, oh God, here we go, normal story with you. But I think he's doing it to pump himself up.
Now listen, Billy, if I hit him on the pad, for goodness sake, give it out. Oh, he's down and he's up again. A little roll, a little forward roll it was.
Gymnasts don't get up as quick as this.
Right on a length as well, I'm afraid. Down the leg side, and the end of another over. Now Ponting will have strike. It's 4 for 193. A single. That'll take him to 99. Will he become one of that exclusive club, the 99 Brigade? On the other hand, there's another club he could become a member of, a club of those batsmen to score 100 in their 100th Test match. There are only 5 of them. Cowdrey, Greenwich, Miandad, Stewart and Inzamam Al-Haq. Oh, he's played and missed.
It's a pretty good ball from Langerfeldt. There hasn't been that much sideways movement today. A little bit of swing, not really too much off the seam. But the beauty of that was its length, because it drew Simons into the stroke. He's really a good competitor. And maybe Smith figures he's got his 2 most obvious competitors, his 2 most in-your-face cricketers, Langerfeldt and Nell, on at a time when he needs Simons' wicket and he wants to make life tough for Ponting.
That one going straight down onto the ground and just rolling backwards. Did you notice Ponting's head there swing around to see where it was?
It's the first little sign, wasn't it, of the fact that he's desperate for this run. Just sees a little opportunity here. He doesn't care how it comes. He looks, no, it ain't on.
Just a little furrow or 2 on the brow. No is the call, that's right. Mid-on coming in to save the 1. There've been 1 or 2 runs taken to mid-off and mid-on. Hussey in particular was the batsman that did that. So still on 99. Ricky Ponting's mum and dad are both at the ground today. Graham and Lorraine Ponting. They'll have their fingers crossed, won't they? There we go. Oh, there might have been 1 there. Oh, he's missed it. Ricky Ponting has managed to get through for the single he needed, back for the second. So there is a century a really good captain's knock. "27 Test centuries. He becomes the 6th batsman to score 100 in his 100th Test match, and it's his 400 this season."
Well, he joins illustrious company. He's the first Australian, of course, to score 100 in his 100th Test. And this has been a marvellous innings. From the first thing this morning, he seemed to play with great authority, great purpose and great certainty. A wonderful cricketer who has lit up the stage here at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Waiting.
Oh, another fumble. And yet another single. Right, well, Ponting there now will he'll be relieved that that is out of the way. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? This whole business of getting past that century creates so much tenseness. And you can see there a big, deep breath. So now he can relax and get on with it. This is a lovely shot, isn't it? Just look at that cross-section of the Australian Society in the background there. That's the members section. Ponting in the foreground. They're all on their feet. That's why this is such a popular game. "27 centuries in one." Oh, there goes a pull shot. Whistles away square of the wicket. The only one in real danger there was the umpire. Yes, just getting back to those centuries. 27 centuries in 165 innings. Border took 265 innings to make 27 centuries. So that gives you some idea of how well he's played. 100 knocks less to get those 27 centuries. So number 7 on the list now, and he's not finished.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
A good example there of Andrew Symonds' strength. Gee, I mean, it was almost Yorker length. And just punched away by Symonds. Just another thought about Ponting, coming back to your point, he's not finished. I mean, he's 31. He's got 27 hundreds. I mean, he's going to fly past these guys like Lara and Border with the most Test match runs, and he'll probably fly past in the list of hundreds too.
Short delivery again, just allowing it to go through the keeper. I suppose the reason is that there are 2 men back. And once again, Nell having a little chat to the batsman there. Symonds is not one little bit interested. I suppose right at this moment in time when you're on 6, there's no point in being too interested in what the bowler's got to say. Not a bad bouncer, mind you. Heath Ledger enjoying the cricket. That fieldsman in that position, quite a long way back. Well, that's a great shot. That's the Symonds we know and love. Well pitched up on off stump. Boy, as strong as an ox, and he's blasted that through the offside field for 4. And if he stays around on this pitch, I can tell you we'll see more of this.
It is a great shot, isn't it? And I think this whole innings tells us a lot about Symonds. The fact that he's had no interest in the antics of Andre Nell, the fact that he hasn't been fazed by some tight bowling that haven't allowed him to score, and then when the chance has come to score, he's been able to take it. He might be settling in.
When fieldsmen don't move as the ball goes flying past you, just have a look at this. Just watch this fieldsman in the covers here. He does not move, and this is gone. Sure, he wasn't anywhere near the ball, but just watch this. There we are. There's no point in moving for those. That was into the gap, and it went like a rocket.
That's beautifully timed. Sean Pollock down there had no more than about 5 metres to move, and he was no chance. 4 for 210. Current run rate 3.6. That's good. Australians, particularly Ponting, have been very aggressive today.
He's continued it here. Callis finished an over poorly. It was such a good over too. Not only erred in length, he was sliding down leg side, and doesn't he love that?
Wide there.
It was interesting watching that first replay of that shot from Ponting, and gives you an idea of the sort of form he is in, how well he's timing the ball. Just keep an eye on Sean Pollock down at fine leg. And he's the fieldsman down there. Slapped it around. There's Pollock. Picks it up, well, I suppose a little bit late, but he's said may have had about 8 metres to travel to his left. I think he made about 2 or 3 steps. And then said, no, sorry, I'm not going to get that. That's beautifully timed.
For all the effort Lungerfeld put into that ball, bounced through to Boucher. Simons comes down to the middle of the pitch. Things are starting to happen with this pitch. It's day 3, about halfway through day 3. There's still 2.5 days to go. Things can happen really quickly in Test match cricket. If the pitch deteriorates quickly, or if you get on a bit of a roll in the last day, things can happen very quickly. 210 plays 451. And that's just a little tennis ball without any air in it. It hasn't bounced anywhere near as much as the bowler, the batsman or the keeper expected.
Good shout. He's a long way across. Mark Boucher, the keeper, had not moved at all. Wasn't overly confident, the bowler.
Don't think he got the support from behind the stumps that he wanted. He's just been told what the umpire thought. Simons crosses his feet. It's hit him in middle and leg. The angle's probably taking it down past the leg stump. But well worth a shout. They need to be all over Simons here. All over him, because that could have been given. You never know. The enthusiasm has to be there. The effort for this 5th wicket has to be there. They've got Australia on the ropes if they get a wicket now.
Oh, I'm not sure what Alim Dar is indicating there. He may have hit it. I don't think he hit it, but I thought the ball was more leg side than that. Straight to the man at backward point. Because Charles Longerfeld has almost a habit where he just jumps out with his last stride of his run-up. And that pushes him wide of the crease, or wide of the stumps. It makes it a bit harder for him to get an LBW. He really has to straighten the ball, swing it away from the right-hander. He does bowl with quite a bit of angle. See there, he just jumps out a little bit. It's fairly wide there. No, I couldn't give that out. Well, that's worth a good shout. This time the bowler's much more confident. But once again, the umpire's not. Good over, 4 for 210. He's got that through. It's not convincing, but he'll get 2.
$108 dot balls, 11 fours, 1 6. It's been an innings of graft and a very emotional time for him. He's got all his guests, friends, family, guests over in a box here at his 100th Test match, and he's got himself to triple figures. Magnificent stuff.
Once again, that ball going to mid-on. And that's the Jacques Kallis is working it. He's trying to get Ricky Ponting to work the ball through the onside. Now, a line of that ball, I reckon, is around about middle and off. It's actually outside off, and yet the ball finishes at mid-on. Ponting walked away, straight away, and said, now hit that straight. I've got to work on getting that back towards the stumps. Flicks that one down to fine leg.
Simon's got a role to play here. Needs to get up there, talk to him a lot, settle him down, play some shots himself and get his partnership going, but it's been full of strokes as well as grit. We've seen on drives, cut shots, pull shots. That's massive. He showed us the lot. A pull in front of square, a drive down the ground, purposely hit a drive from Johan Botha through mid-on rather than mid-off, and he takes a bow.
And it's 4 for 2-1-3. Well, that's got to be close. May have been an edge in that one. Really is spearing the ball at the stumps at the moment. Yeah, I think there might have been a bit of bat in that one.
Get that kookaburra out of the way, they're saying. Simon squeezed one onto his pads in the mind of Alain Dar. And now Ricky Ponting has too. Inside edge onto back pad. He is targeting the pads and the stumps of both these batsmen and is so close. 5 for 213 is such a good position for South Africa to get themselves into.
Oh, now an inside edge. Beats the stumps, beats Boucher, and he gets 4. Well, no luck at the moment for the South Africans. Ponting just going through a tough period, even though he's 100.
Just got to bear in mind that they're 238 in front, the South Africans. They've got to plug away. Things are happening for them. They're creating chances, even if they're half chances. But they are there or thereabouts, exactly where they want to be. Australia have got all the hard yards to do. They've got to stay on top of their game and see if they can turn things.
Yes.
Ricky Ponting needed that. Needed to get off strike at the moment.
Right there.
4 for 218.
Nell's figures at the moment, 14.1 overs, 1 for 40. That's been a bit of the way he's bowled this series. I expected him to be a lot more erratic than he's been, but his economy's been good while he's been firing up the crowds and his teammates and the Australian batsmen. So he's combined things beautifully and continued his good year for South Africa. They say he's got a bit more pace up his sleeve too. 132 Ks, that one. He's regularly bowled over 140 in the past from all reports, so he's got a bit up his sleeve to improve. He's probably zigzagging more than I've ever seen him do as well. He's jumping in towards the umpire, then his front foot splays out, and then his upper body comes back towards the batsman. It's got to cost him pace by spreading his forces.
It's nicely placed from Ponting. The man at backward point's fairly deep, and he will rein it in. You'll look at the feeling that Graham Smith made the bowling change a while ago based on Andrew Symonds coming to the crease. He took Johan Botha off, the off-spin bowler, probably because of the way that Symonds played the off-spinners in Melbourne. Well, I don't think he can wait too much longer to bring him back into the attack. I think he's got to give his off-spinner a go at Simons before he gets too set.
Little round of applause after that last scoring shot by Ponting, his highest of 4 centuries against South Africa.
Ponting's on 120, Andrew Simons is on 10. Into the commentary box has come Richie Benaud, and with him is Ian Chappell.
Thanks, Mark. Into the 64th over now, 4 for 222. Splendid century from Ponting, 120. Simons is in his go carefully mode at the moment, 10 from 41. Beautifully bowled, yes. The big in-swinger. He's not swung the ball in. He got one to go to Ponting a little earlier, but that was a magnificent in-ducker. Deserved a wicket.
Well, they've been searching for an LBW, well, probably throughout this innings from Ricky Ponting. That one's hit him well and truly in line. He's just across the crease. Easy decision. Ponting has gone for a century in his 100th test. Taking his place, the vice-captain, Adam Gilchrist. A struggling Adam Gilchrist. Hasn't had a good series, but it has said that he's going to turn it around in this test match. 3 slips for Gilchrist. And a deep point. Well, the South Africans have been looking for an LBW to go against Ricky Ponting throughout this innings. They've hit him on the pads a lot. This was far and away the best shout.
Yes, he's beaten for pace and beaten with the swing. It swung a long way. Drew Ponting into the shuffle across the crease. Very clever bowling.
Ten to Simons. Gilchrist not yet off the mark. And Australia are 229 behind, so this is a big partnership.
Like there.
And T coming up. South Africans would like to get the breakthrough. Andre Nell not happy with the misfield. Obviously wanted to have a crack at Simons. Now he gets a chance to bowl to Gilchrist, having faced just 4 balls. So South Africa desperately searching for another breakthrough in this session. They've already got Hussey and Ponting. One more would have them very well placed in the game.
3 men out towards the boundary, 2 on the onside for the pull or lofted shot down to deep fine leg or deep forward square. And then there's another one 3 parts of the way to the boundary at backward point.
There's a very deep point. Gilchrist off the mark.
Someone was asking the other day what Gilchrist needed to do to make more runs. Well, over the years he's played, he's made an absolute mozza. I was reminded of Neil Harvey on his first tour passing a message to Bradman through Sam Loxton, what do I have to do to make runs? And Bradman didn't look up from writing his letters, he just said, If you keep the ball on the ground, you eliminate one way of getting out.
That's well fielded.
Great to watch. It's been some good cricket today.
Good save there by Boucher. And he's been given out. There was a big shout from behind the wicket. He must have felt that Simons had moved a long way across. I got a feeling Andre Nel might have just changed his action a little bit before he delivered that ball as well.
Well, it was just about Yorker length. Right up in the block hole. Oh. It's 6 for 226.
Well, at Sydney Cricket Ground, a bit of a buzz going around the ground. Not just because Shane Warne has come to the middle, but some strange umpiring decisions being given here. We've seen some LBWs that have been turned down that have had far more merit than that last one. It was certainly a change of action from Andre Nel, but also a change of heart from the umpire. No wonder Andrew Simons was mystified. That's going to miss leg stump by, well, take your pick. About a fifth stump, might not have got hit. Big shout there, sounded like a nick. So Andre Nel has got 2 in 2. He was on a hat-trick at the MCG, and he's on one now at the SCG. At 2 and 2 balls for Andre Nel. It's 7 for 226. Big round of applause for Brett Lee as he walks out onto the SCG. Well, I said the South Africans would like one more breakthrough. They got a gift from the umpires with Andrew Simons' LBW, but then they got a bonus with Shane Warne being out caught behind. 2 and 2 balls to Andre Nel.
That's the first one. That's the second. There was a noise, but there was also the raised finger for the second time.
Gilchrist now has Brett Lee as a partner, and then just McGrath and McGill. So it'll be interesting to see what approach he takes. Sean Pollock now is going to have a crack at the Paddington end. First over from the Paddington end for Pollock, and it's got a little darker in the last few minutes.
No.
That point is still in the deep position. I would have thought it'd be worth bringing him up, even if it's only 5-10 metres. Now the umpires are having a chat. Certainly has got darker in the last few minutes. And the batsmen have agreed when they've been offered the light. So a good session for South Africa. They would have liked to have had the next 5 minutes, I'm sure. And had a bit longer to have a crack at Adam Gilchrist. But the South Africans should be fairly happy with that session.
226 for 7 at tea, Australia, and while for a lot of the time it looked like nothing.
And here's Pollock, 5 balls to go in this over.
Yes.
Nicely flicked away to mid-wicket. We've got a man back on the boundary down there, so we'll collect a couple.
Really important that South Africa stay on the job here. They're had a good day so far. We saw a good partnership between Hussey and Ponting, and they've picked up wickets now quickly. But Lee at one end, he's at non-striker's end.
Right there.
And Gilchrist on strike, can both score quickly. Now, I don't want to give away the advantage they have at the moment. Gilchrist has been out of form, probably the worst form of his career in terms of test match cricket right at the moment. But he's a sort of player who can turn it around very quickly. And this is the sort of position that he loves, counter-attacking position.
Oh, and a little inside edge there, could so easily have been dragged back onto the stumps. Just a little bit of movement off the wicket there, back towards the left-hander. Bit of rough outside off stump with Pollock bowling around the wicket.
There's his last 4 years, or nearly 5 years in test match cricket.
Yes.
He takes a single, so he'll face the hat-trick ball from Andre Nell unless they get an overthrow, which they will get. Good running from Gilchrist. Picks up 2, 7 for 230. And we have to go back to March 2001 to find the last time that Adam Gilchrist averaged below 50. And it will now be Brett Lee to face Andre Nell, who's on a hat-trick.
Straight back to him, all the way along the ground. So, unfortunately, not a hat-trick for Andre Nell. However, 2 in 2 will do.
Well, he did most things right. He got it straight, wasn't a no ball, and he was ready for something coming back his way. One bounce. He was ready for it, wasn't he?
Oh, good, very good delivery. Brett Lee didn't know much about that much. That one, oh, and off he goes.
He's real Jekyll and Hyde, isn't he? Last ball he was smiling and rolling over. This one shorter, faster, and a couple of words at the end of it, a snarl. What's all that about, Tony? What are you saying there?
I need to hear that again. I failed Afrikaans, I'm afraid, but we'll have a go. There are not many around the world that give Brett Lee the glare, the extended glare. Not many batsmen, let alone bowlers, that aren't much cop with a bat.
I think it's great, because I've always been a great believer that as a bowler you're going to cop your short ones anyway, so you might as well give a few back and put in this sort of attitude as a fast bowler when bowling to one of your colleagues, I suppose.
Oh, and that's hit him. 7 for 230. So 7 down for 230, 221 behind. So The Australians still in a position where they could be asked to follow on.
Yes, yes.
Gilchrist finding the gap. He's the one that can change things quite dramatically, is Adam Gilchrist. And just judging by that sort of shot, he's starting to warm to the task.
So a wicket of Ponting got things started for South Africa today. Then the wicket of Simons followed by Warne straight away. I think Andrew Simons will be far from pleased with his LBW decision. He had a couple of closer ones. There's the unusual right arm action from Andre Nel. That's clearly missing leg stump. And the weird thing about that was the keeper was going a long way down the leg side. That one to me seemed like a regulation edge. Shane Warne didn't seem all that happy about it, but there certainly sounded like there was a noise there. I don't think what else it could have been.
That's nicely played by Brett Lee. He's found the gap on the offside. Gilchrist thinks about 3 but decides against it. So Lee is off the mark. Oh, that's lucky. Again, could so easily have been dragged back onto the stumps. Very well stopped by Boucher. There's no doubt that the Aussies have got to keep going here. This is obviously back to the wall stuff for them at the moment. Still 214 runs behind, and these two both, I reckon, have a fair bit to prove. Lee has played pretty good cricket just lately. He's capable of making 50s in Test cricket. Gilchrist has well, he's had a really bad run, so he'll really want to work through it, and there's nothing like being in the middle. You can go and stand in the nets for as long as you like. At the end of the day, you've got to do it in the centre. He'd be conscious of that.
Well, the first thing they need is 15 runs. 15 runs to avoid the follow-on. See how consistent and deadly he's been. Gilchrist, look at all those hundreds. 11 hundreds in the last 4 completed calendar years anyway.
Oh, and again, he's chopped it down between, missing the stumps by perhaps 6 inches or so, down to fine leg.
It's obviously a plan, Tony. He's playing 2 and 1 over. He is seeing them well if he's doing this deliberately. Oh, my word, that's close.
Lee to face some more of that Nell music. 19 overs, 3 for 47, Nell's figures. It's making him jump around a little bit. He's followed through there again, indicating that he's got some problem with the leg. Just a little bit of a limp. He'll keep going though.
This may just be a bit of jarring or something in one of the legs. Certainly in a little bit of pain is Andre Nel.
Very wide, but he's got it away through down towards the boundary, and that'll be another 4. That's his first boundary. But it takes him a little closer. 212 behind now.
Another 9 needed for the follow-on figure. This one's a bit of a gift. End up beating Herschel Gibbs in the gully. It was a big wide full toss.
He's got no idea where it is, and it's bobbed up and gone behind him. Well, he's not looking that comfortable out there at the moment. Well, that's nicely cut away. Short outside off stump. Brett Lee has got on to that one well. Another boundary.
He did well to keep this down, Brett Lee. It did bounce at him a bit. Kept it down and placed it pretty well.
Asking for trouble when you pitch from halfway down the pitch outside off stump. We've got to try and tuck him up. I think he might have enjoyed that. He was certainly onto it nice and quickly. Right, so he's now around the wicket. But the field's not in position. There's going to be another change.
Yeah, a man going away to mid-wicket. There's also a man at sort of deep backward point. He's had a shot there, just coming into your shot there. There for a slashed square cut. Really is an unusual position. He's about 2/3 of the way to the boundary. It's there for a wide one, slashed away, probably in the air for Brett Lee, who does love scoring in that area. I reckon he'd feel a little bit unlucky if he picked him out, though.
Straight down the ground, right out of the meat of the bat. Right, well, it looks to me as if Brett Lee is ready to have a go.
Well, there'll be no follow-on in this match anyway. Australia are now 199 behind. And probably about now, Andre Nell's wishing he didn't ask for another over. A couple of fours to Lee.
Very aggressive, isn't he? As soon as it's a bad delivery, cut that short ball for 4. That was over pitched. He smashed it down the ground for 4. So he's gone to 13. And that one's gone really through 3rd or 4th slip, I reckon, to the boundary for 4 as well. And this will be hurting Andre Nell.
Well, a couple of good shots and a fortunate one on this occasion. More of a thick edge, this one. This is the off drive. Absolutely crunched that, threw it off. He was waiting for that. And this one, thick edge, floated almost, and around about the 4th slip region. A new ball due in about 4 overs. That's where they've bowled to Brett Lee. Mixed it up a fair bit. Runs mainly from the shorter ones. But one boundary there down the ground, that was that off drive off Andre Nell last over, that one there. But, most of the runs have been scored from shorter balls.
Oh, that's a good bouncer. And even a little acknowledgement from Brett Lee. Well, there we are.
Was it an acknowledgement, Tony, or just, okay, I'll store that way? That's one I owe you.
Weathers spun 1 or 2 a little, turned them into the right-handers. A very high action.
There are very few better than Adam Gilchrist when he's on song.
I'm taken with the fact that apart from the start, rather nervous start to his innings, he's kept the ball on the ground. Maybe that he was very keen to make sure the follow-on was safe first of all.
Callis's approach to Lee has been good because he's looked to bowl very straight, not giving Lee any room, which he loves outside off stump. And he's really bent his back. He's tried to hit the pitch hard, bowled him a good bouncer last over. The only thing about Brett Lee is to treat him as a batsman these days. You've got to bowl good lengths, otherwise he'll give you a tremendous clatter. Well bowled. That is high class. It's quick. It thuds into the glove. Graham Smith is the catcher, and Kallis's theory has worked well.
Just a question of whether or not his hand was on the bat or where it hit him. Or whether it hit the glove that was on the bat or the one that was off. However, Finger's gone up and Lear's gone off. It's 8 for 263.
Kallis is reasonably fresh. He's only into his 14th over, 2 for 23. And big wickets too. Ricky Ponting initially. Well, Stuart MacGill's feeling so good about things he doesn't want runs.
And Brett Lee, just keep your eye on the gloves. And if it hits the glove that is on the bat, there's no doubt Boucher and the others thought that it hit the correct glove, and it has hit the glove that is on the handle holding the bat.
8 for 263. That's still an advantage of 188 for the South Africans. And that is some advantage. Here's Johan Botha.
Billy Bowden's had a bit of practice with those decisions.
Good call. Now, the opinion of Botha and also of Mark Boucher is that that has hit Gilchrist full on the toe before he's got any bat on it. The issue is whether or not it's hit him outside the line, which it did. Good umpiring. Well, what about that one? Whoa! Mighty tight. Well, has that hit him outside the line? Is that a brilliant decision? He's got a keen eye. It's always been right today, but it's a keen eye. Australia are still 186 behind South Africa, and 80 overs have been bowled. Consequently, South Africa can now take a new ball, which they're going to do immediately. Oh, that's good stuff. That's the area. A little bit of extra bounce there for Pollock with the new ball. He really is an efficient performer. He's gone wicketless so far this innings, but he deserves better than that. Other than the first over or two, he's been consistent. He hits the seam. He's at you all the time. And Gilchrist knows it. To LBW, but not out, says Alim Dar. 8 for 265. Adam Gilchrist has just gone perilously close to being given out LBW, a ball that swung back at him quite late from Sean Pollock. Where did it pitch? Well, it might just have pitched outside leg, and it might just have missed leg, I suppose. Oh, tight call. So tight that Alim Gaddar went the way of the batsman. Amazing amount of tight calls that umpires have basically gone with the batsman. Andrew Simons looked to get on the wrong end of one, but otherwise batsmen have had a reasonable time of it in this game. Here's Langerfeld. And there's Stuart MacGill. And very nice too.
Langerfeld will get some away swing to the right hand of MacGill. One of his favourite strokes. A little nudge away over the slips.
And Graham Smith's response is to put a sort of short third man in place. You wouldn't call him a fly slip, he's so far away. Right out there. Just don't want this to get away. The danger of MacGill was evident in Adelaide when he helped Michael Hussey to that terrific partnership for the 9th wicket. They put on 93 together. The important thing here is to keep doing the simple thing well. Lines and lengths that have served the South Africans throughout the day must apply now, even to a more unorthodox style from Stuart MacGill.
Same stroke, but he wasn't quite as close to it this time. There is swing there.
And that's nicely bowled too. Good pace, around 135 k's, and some swing. He posed problems for Matthew Hayden last evening. He beat him with an absolute beauty that came between bat and pad, went over the top of off stump. And then he bowled him out with a similar ball when Hayden, looking to drive, got an inside edge back onto his stumps, but it was because of the swing. He released that ball with the seam upright and the wrist behind the ball. You've always got a good chance of making it swing. Right, now then, Pollock can have a go at Stuart MacGill.
There it is. He got over gully, and the third man can do nothing. Welcome in, Chappell.
Thanks, Ian. Well, they should be paying him for runs as well as minutes. Moved along to 6. They actually got MacGill out in Melbourne by bowling a good length, the sort of length that you bowl to a proper batsman. In fact, MacGill's moved along to 10 with that boundary, his second. So I think no ball called there by Alim Dar. I think wouldn't be a bad idea to revert to that plan. Probably the odd bouncer up into the rib cage from the South Africans, but basically bowl a pretty good length to him. It was a good length delivery from Mackay and Tini, with just a hint of movement out away from the bat.
He spoons it over mid-off this time. Rudolph in pursuit. Just take a single. Oh, big chance of 3 there, but Gilchrist stays on strike. They're targeting the wrong part of the ground for him. I think they need to angle it into middle and leg. He's backing away, giving his stumps up, and they're not attacking them. They're short and wide outside off, and they've found the one shot that he plays with ease, and they're feeding it.
He's proved to be quite handy in desperate situations with the bat last 12 months or so. He got in the Pura Cup final, he got New South Wales home, last wicket pair. I think he did the same thing in the club grand final.
Now there's a big gap there. They've taken the man across. Pollock has performed the plan that was appropriate, and McGill picks up 2, the end of the over. Costly one, 8 for 279. Flat batted down the ground. McGill's on 13, and that'll get him to 17.
Pretty well timed by Stuart McGill. He's a dangerous tail ender because he flings the bat about. He's got quite a good eye, and he hits a few boundaries. That's his 3rd one now.
Short again at the helmet. That's the angle. The follow-up's important. They've been too short to him. They've forgotten about swinging the ball. They've forgotten about getting it up there and using their slips. McGill has rattled the South Africans here.
Certainly the short one you really should be aiming at just under the left armpit, because he gives himself a little bit of room. That ball is going to be following him, and if you get it at the right height, he's got nowhere to go.
Smashed past Andre Nell this time. Can he get to this one? Easy. McGill just takes 2. Nell asked the question, do you want to take 3? But they don't. 8 for 286. What are they going to need? Can they chase in Sydney? There's the highest 4th innings totals to win at Sydney. It's 276. Is the most anyone's made. They made it 4 wickets down a long, long time ago.
Well, the chase in 85-6 was a very good game, New Zealand versus Australia. Simon O'Donnell, one of our commentators, was not out there at the end. I reckon maybe with David Hooks. 85-6, pretty good battle, that one. New Zealand didn't have a lot of options in the way of spin bowling.
It's in the air and it's safe. Second bounce 4.
South Africa have had awful problems getting rid of the last couple of wickets. We saw in Melbourne, Hussey absolutely annihilated the attack and going from 27 to the century with just the number 11 batsman to help him.
Now Gilchrist shouldn't forget the time spent in the middle either. It's just as valuable. Shouldn't be throwing things away here. Can he rein himself back in? He's playing the big shots himself. Does he need to do this?
Yes, yes.
Little dab cut shot. It's going to make the fielders out on the boundary work hard. The timing is starting to come back. They call for 4.
Filsman's knocked it away. Now, his foot did hit the boundary board, but I think you'll find that the ball was away from him when the foot hits.
the effort that was required. It's about 65, 70 metres away from Adam Gilchrist, and he only dabbed at it. One slip in a gully now. They're really defending for Gilchrist. He has them worried. With good reason. Just clears the ropes. No, it doesn't, says Billy Bowden. It's 4.
Well, that's more like the Adam Gilchrist we saw at this ground against Pakistan 12 months ago, smacking them in the middle. That one has gone hard and low, just bouncing short of the boundary.
He spooned that and helped it on its way, and it's cannoned into the boundary.
That brings up the 300. Gilchrist starting to find form again. He said that he was going to play a few shots in this innings, and he thought that he might be able to regain his form. Too short. You've got to be making him drive. He might still hit you for 4, but at least you've got more chance of getting him out if he's trying to hit off the front foot rather than playing the horizontal bat shots.
Now he comes around the wicket, Sean Pollock, to try and cramp up that cut shot or back foot drive. But on the offside, he struggled with the left-handers in this innings, Pollock. That's wide. It's hit the bottom of the bat and he still got it through. No runs. His pace is down again too, Sean Pollock. It's in the 120s, high 120s. He was mid 130s for a lot of the first 2 tests. Nearly got a wicket there. Unfortunate, Gilchrist didn't time it a little better to carry to the fielder. Slow ball. He gets under it and it's safe. Can they run 3? Of course not. They're happy with 2. McGill goes to 21 in Australia. 147 behind.
Well, that was the situation for Australia. 7 out in Perth in the first innings for 210, all out 258. MCG was the big one, and that was basically the last wicket partnership.
Oh, it's full this time, and it's disappeared.
When he's in form, he hits them hard and flat. So there's not much opportunity to cover a lot of territory in the outfield. It's not like they're skied and somebody fast can get around and cover a bit of ground. That is hit hard and flat.
The thing you might like to try as a bowler is to change your pace. But he's got such quick hands that he can readjust to the slower ball and still smack it. So the bowler doesn't quite know what to do when he's in this sort of mood. Just under 2 hours he's been for 46. What's it to be? He's off spinner? Not sure. He has a look around. What's the captain done for me in the field? Where should I be bowling this? There's no protection down the ground. It better not be full. It's not, but it's going to be 4.
There wasn't a big swing at that one, as Adam Gilchrist brings up his 50.
250s this summer, both at the SCG. 94 he made against the World 11 in the Super Series. And he's back. McGill can spend another half an hour with him. The South Africans will be less relaxed than they have been. 7 4s. No 6s yet. Squeezed dot ball to finish Charles Langerfeld's over. 2 for 108 he's got. 137 behind the Aussies.
The deficit now down to 137. Sean Pollock, is he the man to do it? in the air, over the top, and another 4. Well, if ever anyone says that the best way to play if you're a tail ender is to block, they should just have a look at this, because this is the way to get things moving.
Well, the thing you've got to do if you're out in the centre is bowl properly. Now, so far I haven't seen any Yorkers. You can't do much with a Yorker, even if you're a good batsman. But as soon as you give a tail ender like Stewie McGill the chance to move around, then you've got a problem. Or 2.
Or even 4. He's absolutely loving this. McGill has taken his score now to 29. McGilchrist's on 50 and hitting himself back into form. These are the 2 boundaries. That's the one that goes over the top of second slip. And then this one a little further up, but still not a Yorker, and heaved over wide mid-on, really, down to the boundary.
Now the Yorker is the ball. Man's gone down to third man, a sort of fly slip. Where's the Yorker?
That's in the air, and this will be caught. Yes, he's got him. Andre Nell got underneath that one, and he's taken the catch. McGill has decided, well, he was going for everything, and that time didn't quite get it in the middle of the bat. Got underneath the ball, went high in the air, and Nell kept his cool and made the catch. Well, that's the end of a nasty little partnership. 59. There it is.
There's plenty of shuffling around there from the batsman, but that's a very good hand by Stewie McGill. 29 from 21 balls, and Gilchrist making runs at the other end. It's 9 for 322.
The new batsman is Glenn McGrath. So Glenn McGrath, who is level pegging at the moment with Shane Warne as far as ducks are concerned. 34 apiece. And they drew level today when Warne was out, caught Boucherbold Nell for a duck. Now he won't be on strike, Glenn McGrath, now, because they did cross while that ball was in the air. So Gilchrist has an opportunity now to have a go at Pollock. The McGill dismissal, he played some good shots. Stewie McGill, 5 boundaries in his innings, and this one went high and just wide of mid-on, and nicely taken by Nell. Oh, it's gone straight up in the air. Will he make it? He's going across quickly. He's going to have to dive, won't get there. Boucher, well, he must have covered 50 metres. The ball was up for so long. It bounced between 3 fieldsmen.
Well, he's struggling there. He's got gloves and pads and every bit of paraphernalia you can have. I thought one of those other 2 guys were almost nude out there, with only their cricket clothes on. A comparison to Boucher might have saved him the trouble.
And that does bring it down to 123.
That's brilliant. Gilchrist, as soon as he miscued the shot, instinctively knew that there was the opportunity for 2 there. And they ran it wonderfully well.
Pollock around the wicket. Down the wicket he goes, in the air, over the top, and another 4. Well, it was flat, and it was hit very hard. It was perhaps within a foot and a half of Biddulph's outstretched hand. Another 4.
Well, McGrath's into his ear. That was a slow ball. Got on the full. McGrath's into his ear saying, don't throw it away. I'll stick with you.
hit that one magnificently, way over the top and into the crowd. Well, that's the Gilchrist that this crowd saw here 1 year ago. 6 sixes in that innings 1 year ago, and he's warming to the task now.
Really gave that something.
Oh, what a shot that was. Magnificently played. Such a sweet hitter of the ball when he's going well. Pollock stays around the wicket.
Yeah.
That's going to beat the fieldsman, is it? No, it's not. Well fielded down there, and just a single. Herschel Gibbs making a fair bit of ground there and fielding well. He's had a go at that one too, and I think that's going to beat the... Oh, that's brilliantly fielded. Boy, he is some athlete. Herschel Gibbs making a lot of ground down there and managing to cut it off.
Turn to 4 into 2. Could be 2 very valuable runs saved. It was premeditated from Gilchrist. Anything short on the stumps, he was going to belt it straight down the ground.
Oh, he's hit that one, and don't worry running, that's disappeared. It's a huge 6. Boy, that did hit the middle of the bat. You could hear it as it left the bat. It just started to take off, and it's ended up 10 or 15 rows back.
Well, he mightn't like that bat, and it might be the one that sprung, but nothing has sprung better than that off the bat face today. What a whack.
Well, they would have been scampering around there. Get out of the way of that one.
Oh.
So the lead now is 103.
Goes over and slips. That's beautifully played. Just showing that it's not all bash and thrash. There's some subtlety as well.
It's a bit of a speciality, that one. And he plays it dead easy. He just waits. He almost expects the short ball. He stays leg side of it. He waits and he plays it so late. Very clever.
Yeah.
Flicks it away. That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He won't retain the strike, but that is just special batting. A couple of boundaries to finish the over. 9 for 359.
Oh.
That's off the glove. I think he's got him here. Gilchrist walks. Andre Nella's got him with the short one. Well, that ends a defiant knock from Adam Gilchrist. A very fine knock too. 10 fours and 2 sixes in that innings of 86, and has lifted Australia to 9 for 359. South Africa 92 in front.
Well, at 226 for 7 when Shane Warne was out first ball to Nell for naught, Australia looked like they were in big trouble, but those last 3 wickets have added 133, with Gilchrist back to his imperious best, 86 from 109. He deserved 100, but I guess Nell probably deserved his wicket as well because he was the pick of the bowlers. Let's have a quick look at those South African bowling figures. Nell 4 for 81 from 24.1. Callis may be a little bit underused, and Botha, the off-spinner, only 7 overs, but his chance, I'm sure, will come in the final innings of this test match. Overall situation then, just before the close, there was time for 2 overs of the South African second innings. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. Australia 359, and South Africa had a lead of 92. Now, before we tell you about an only over, had this happened to him.
and this is good bowling by Brett Lee. Brett Lee has pitched ball up a lot more with the new ball, and he's caused the South African batsmen problems both in Melbourne, here in Sydney, and here he traps de Villiers, just shuffling across the crease, ball pitching on, not straightening a great deal, but just enough for that ball to hit middle and leg.
So